As tragic, gut-wrenching, and terrifying as this movie is, films like this have to be made. And they also have to be talked about. So I'm hoping that you will stick around so you and I can talk 22 July. Hello, my name is Joe. Welcome to Colored Positive Movies. If you like watching movie reviews and talking movies, make sure you hit that subscribe button. 22 July is a Netflix film. It was written and directed by Paul Greengrass. The movie is based on a novel called The One of Us. This is pretty much an ensemble cast, but there are two main characters. I'm going to read the names to make sure I get them right. We have Anders Lee. He portrays Breivik. And we also have Jonas Grevely. And he plays the character Ilhar Hansen. This movie is about Norway's worst terror attack. It happened on 22 July 2011. If you're not familiar with the story, this was about a guy, Breivik. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's an extremist. He builds a bomb, puts it in a van, he drives downtown, sets the van in front of the Prime Minister's building, the government buildings downtown. While that fuse is burning, he has a police officer's uniform on, he gets another van, he's driving towards a ferry. So when the bomb detonates, obviously all the resources, first responders, all rush to the explosion. While everyone focuses on the explosion, he's waiting for a ferry to come over. So he's here to go over to the island. The island has a bunch of teenagers who are starting their summer camp. And he's saying, have you heard what happened downtown? They sent me out here just as a precaution. So they buy the story. He gets over to the island. Then he's finally challenged by a guy who says, hey, it kind of makes sense, but I would like to see an ID. And that's where the shooting starts. And he tragically kills 69 people on the island, most of them being teenagers. What's really horrifying is that the first act is told, they switch back and forth between this guy preparing the attack, executing the attack, and driving to the ferry. And while that's going on, you see the kids getting ready for summer camp. They're setting up their tents. They're talking about the summer. They're talking about friends or reconnecting because they hadn't seen people in a while, and they have no idea what's about to come. Now, the director doesn't pull any punches. It's not gratuitous, but it is hard to watch when you start shooting those kids and they're running and screaming and they're hiding in the woods and they're stuck. They're holding on the cliffs. And it's tough to watch, but again, it's one of these movies that I believe you need to talk about. And those stories of survival need to be told. Now, the second and third act are a little hard to describe. It's almost like mini short stories. The director really goes into the aftermath and the tragedy and the ripple effect this has. But these stories all run concurrent to a one point, the trial. One story is about the extremist, the terrorist, and now he's caught and he wants to be able to speak at his trial so he can spew his hatred and explain the war of immigration, all this other stuff's in his mind, his manifesto, right? Then you have a survivor, a kid that was shot. There's brothers that one brother got out being harmed, at least physically. The other brother was shot multiple times, and he has these bullet fragments in his brain. And also included in the second, third act is the lawyer that has to represent this guy. And the toll takes on him and his family, the parents of the victims, the parents who lost kids. Then it gets into the Prime Minister's office, how they responded, and the inquiries and all the third-party investigations about how the government, did they miss something? Man, there's so much going on in this movie, but it's done in such a coherent and systematic way that it works. All right, so my favorite parts of the film, I really like it how it went into the aftermath. And, this one act of terror can cause all this ripple effect. The other part I really liked were two conversations with the lawyer and Breivik. Breivik asked his lawyer a personal question, and he answers it, and Breivik's response is bone-chilling. Then at the end, when the trial's over, and the lawyer is having him sign one last form, and that's it, we're done, I no longer represent you, the lawyer gives his opinion of who he thought he was, Breivik was. And I thought that was really well done. It does run a little long. It's 2.5 hours, and there's a lot put into that 2.5 hours. The Prime Minister, that whole storyline about the government, what they missed, that could have been shortened. They could have done that in a different way and still got the importance of it across. I definitely say see it, but you definitely have to be in the mood for this one. This is a tough film to get through. The first act is hard to watch. I don't want to get into the political ramifications of it, but I think you kind of know the gist of extremists and why they do what they do. And this really captures it and the aftermath. If you've seen 22 July, let me know what you thought in the comments below. I know it's a tough movie to talk about, but it's an important movie to talk about. So again, let me know in the comments, and thanks for stopping by Color Positive Movies.
Perfect.